Hey Brian, I'm going to do these a little bit differently than I have in the past. Normally I combine a couple of chapters into one video, and I think because of how long sometimes it takes them to load, I'm going to try just doing one chapter at a time. And because you're the only student, I think I can customize these around applications for e-marketing as they relate to your particular employer, the DMV. So we'll see if that works. So what is the new media? Why is it important for marketing? And the answer to that lies in the fact that as a media, it's incredibly dynamic in its various applications and channels. You can produce CDs, DVDs. You can produce videos online, like for YouTube. They can be advertising or brand imaging development in content, or they, in the case of again YouTube videos, they might be demonstrative. They might be providing, in your particular case, like information about the DMV, how one goes about getting their particular license, whether it's an auto or you could do a different one for auto, truck driving, and motorcycle, I would think. And you could also communicate with your users around social media in many ways, so we'll talk about that later. But marketers are obviously concerned about these things aren't as cheap as they are sort of touted to be or thought that they would be initially. They're seen as cheaper than traditional advertising, and they are in certain ways, but on the other hand, let's say to produce a video, um, what is your expected return on investment? And that all depends on intended outcome of providing that particular, let's say it's a video, a YouTube video. Is it instructional? Is it promotional? What really is the outcome? And then what are the metrics that you might use to gauge whether or not your intended outcomes are actualized or realized? There are many different ways, are many different applications that we can do to push our service into the marketplace. Normally in marketing we talk either about a push or a pull, and a push is getting your product or your service out into the marketplace, and that's done through samples, through apps, DVDs, videos, so on and so forth. A pull strategy is normally something that you do to get people into your facility. So if you're a grocery store, you run advertisements, you run in-store specials, and those are what they call pull tactics. And the online media is especially good for push promotional tactics because, again, of the various dynamic nature of the choices in channels that you have available to you. Now again, we might produce, if you were DMV, a video for different reasons, either to explain to individual target market users, like again trucks, commercial trucks, autos, and or motorcycles, what the process is. Let's assuming it's instructional in that sense. Um, and you could have, again, 3 different short videos that explain it. What are some of the ways that you might gauge the success of those videos? before you do anything like that, even if it's a business, not a non-profit or organizational like yours is, if it's a business, what are some metrics that you have in mind before you ever produce them that would measure whether or not they're successful to your intended ends? So this is actually a pretty good slide from your text that talks about some of them that you might consider. If you are a for-profit, it might be things like actual purchases. If your intention is to build brand awareness, you might do surveys before and after the release of these so that you can measure whether or not they were successful to those ends. They could be customer service oriented, in which case you could measure it exactly the same way. Satisfaction before these promotional tools are implemented and survey afterwards. In the case potentially of instructional instructional videos for different kinds of drivers, it might be the increase in passing. They could be developed as a study tool, kind of reviewing for a motorcycle person, for example, what some of the primary considerations are that would end up being on the test. It could be a study tool also. So you could measure completion rate, number of times that it was forwarded to other people. Those might have relevance for your organization, depending again on the intended use. Now, one of the things that is key in, and I'm going to talk to you more about it, even if we need to talk on the telephone about it, about how to make these videos. There's some simpler ways to do it now than what's explained in the YouTube video for your final assignment. But videos are becoming a very important venue for promotion, explanation of products, services, training, that sort of thing for small businesses, because they can be used over and over. So there may be a reasonable high production cost, but if they have legs over time, then the ROI over time, the return on investment, can be substantial depending on the application, let's say like training, and the number of employees that you might have, and the importance of the issues that are discussed in the video itself, let's say. So one of the things we're going to learn to do is to make a video, and for a business, whether it's a small business, large business, depending on what place you occupy in your organization, videos can be extremely important. So again, videos can be a great tool for small business. They can be extremely cost effective, and again, you want to think it through. What is the purpose for which I'm producing this particular video? Is it how to show a product, give instructions, just to show a product line or category extension? Where am I going to put this in my video? Am I going to put it on my website? Am I going to put it on YouTube? Both? Do I put it? Do I link it in my social media? Some of the above, all the above. And again, it depends on the video, what your intended outcome is, and what your stated metrics for performance would be. Videos can be a very important part of your social marketing goals and objectives because, again, of the flexibility and the application of what you can apply them to. I think what's important in all cases is to have a marketing plan that shows your comprehensive plan of attack that you're going to take in satisfying customer service, training, again, whatever is all encompassed in your comprehensive plan. And again, videos can be an extremely important aspect of your overall plan. We talked about Porter's five forces. I believe it was Porter that said, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. And so again, you want to have metrics in place when you think about these different promotional tactics and channels on how you're going to measure or weigh the success of them. That's all I have on this chapter, and next one will be on chapter 6.